I'm David Ingram, and we're sitting in my living room, which I will have lived in for 39 years, 10 months, and 3 weeks as of tomorrow. And that'll be 40 years this December the 10th. So, you know, it's called having fun with your money. I bought it for $42,000 the first time, then I bought it for $56,000 the third time, and second time, $160 the third, and $641 the fourth time. So my guest, so that we can understand what's happening here, my guest is Dan Walkow, and I looked high, and I looked low, and I looked across here, and around the world is really where I looked to find a Dan Walkow. Because just as we were talking to Fred Snyder in the segment before, and Fred I consider just the best guy in Vancouver if you got $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000 and you want some mutual funds or something, or life insurance, or a written financial plan, Dan is the guy in Canada to go to if you are one of my kind of client that's got U.S.-Canadian tax situations and you've got money on both sides of the border. Now, by that I mean you're a Canadian living in the States with a Canadian RRSP, or you're an American who's gone back to live in the States, you've still got a Canadian RRSP, or you're an American living in Canada, you've got a 401k or an IRA plan, or you've just got a cash account, which is harder to deal with than the RRSPs because they've actually made some regulations that make it possible to do RRSPs under NAFTA for most people. There are phone lines open. You can phone in for nothing, for free, 1-866-980-0499. And if you can't get Dan, if you're not watching November the 4th, 2009, if you can't get Dan tonight and you do want to talk to him in archives or during the week sometime, his phone number is 866-541-9952. His website, www.cbankcapital.com. Now, tonight we want to specialize.
We have a question already.
We've got questions. Tonight we want to specialize on Canadians living in the States, in California in particular. We've got apparently 2 phone lines going already. I think that's the first time that we've had 2 phone lines online at the same time, Dan.
It's a hot topic, David.
Hot topic. I think so. Okay, we're going to take the first phone line when Richard gets this one clear. This is a problem. Now, are we there? Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Hello, yes. What, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, my question is, I'm an American citizen. My wife is a Canadian and American citizen, and we're thinking about moving back to Canada.
Back to Canada?
To live.
Okay.
And
can you turn your mic or turn your computer down in the background so you're not listening to it delayed?
Sure. We're thinking about retiring in Canada.
Okay.
And we have, a pension and a 401k plan and IRAs. And I'm wondering what the tax implications are. Whether is the tax higher in Canada or in the U.S. in terms of retirement?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? Because the tax is actually, if you do you want to make a stab at this, or
go ahead on the tax
okay.
side, David.
Okay. Can I ask what state you're moving from?
Florida.
You're in Florida now. Okay. Can I ask approximately how old you are? Are you in your 60s, 70s, or 80s?
My wife is 60 and I'm 57.
Okay. Then you're moving from Florida, which is one of the 7 lowest tax jurisdictions in North America, to someplace in Canada. Are you talking about coming to British Columbia or going to Ontario or New Brunswick, or where are you talking about going to?
Ontario or British Columbia.
Okay. And again, they've got a big differential in their tax as well. Ontario costs you more than BC does.
One of the things you might want to bear in mind, are you going to live off the income from the American retirement accounts right away, or do you have sufficient retirement funding to carry you through till, say, 70 years of age?
I'm going to live off my retirement.
Right.
And, cash that we've accumulated. we have about $1 million, 1.2 million.
Right.
Okay. Well, you're talking, Dan Walkow is one of the only people, there are likely 12, but he's the person that I have sort of zeroed in on as being as good or better than anybody else out there to do and look after the money that you're talking about, because he's licensed and can deal with your 401k and your IRA if you roll the 401k into an IRA, which you will usually do. And he can also look after the money in Canada or the States at the same time. And I think I'm correct in that, right?
Yeah, one of the things we can do is we can pre-prep you. We can start with you when you're in the United States, and then when you do move to Canada, everything's legitimate. Your accounts will not be frozen, as some U.S. service providers do when you move to and get a Canadian residence. They will not service you in Canada. But you want to bear in mind that you can keep your IRA and retirement programs going through just as if you're a resident of the United States for the next several years. You don't have to make an immediate decision unless you want to pay tax in California. Be done with it when you move.
Nobody's in Florida.
Or Florida, I'm sorry.
No.
You can stage it out. For example, I mean, you can move, you can take some out over a period of time. It doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing decision right away. So I always suggest that you keep your options open as long as you can, unless there's a compelling reason not to do so, whether it's an extremely low tax rate or there's estate tax considerations or other matters. But if you have the option to keep things open, you should.
Okay.
So in this case, you have lots of flexibility. Certainly we could help you with that.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, do you intend to spend time in Florida after you come back to Canada, or are you talking about making a straight move?
I'm thinking about living half the time in Canada and half the time in the States.
Okay. If you come up to Canada then, and you are in Ontario for the sake of argument, and you are both U.S. citizens, correct?
Yes.
Okay. If you come up to Ontario, and you're in Ontario, the first year you only have to be there 153 days. After that, you need to be there in every other province or territory 183 days a year. Sleep and live and make your home in Ontario. So when you do that, you have made yourself taxable in Ontario if you qualify for Ontario Medical, or BC if you qualify for BC Medical. At that time, particularly after you turn 65, you will pay higher tax in Canada. And the reason is you'll pay higher tax in Ontario than you will in BC. The reason is very simple. The United States, when you're a married couple, does not tax approximately the first $30,000 a year that you get in Social Security. It's not taxed. It becomes 85% taxable as your income gets higher. If your income is going to be $35,000 or $30,000 of Social Security and another $30,000 of outside income, you actually are getting just about to the rate where you're going to be taxed on your Social Security, so it doesn't matter much whether you're in Canada or the States. Florida, though, does not have a state income tax, so your tax is likely going to be, and I'm making a guess, you're happy to do a pro forma for you and show what the difference will be. The tax is going to be higher in Ontario than it will be if you stayed as a resident of Florida. So then you've got to worry about your medical. And I have no doubt in my mind that the medical for you is better in Ontario than it is in what you have in Florida if you're not paying for your medical under Medicare. Do you have a medical plan now?
Through work, yes.
Okay. And what is it going to cost you for your medical when you cease work?
Probably $1,000 a month.
Okay. Then living in Canada will be far cheaper for you if you count the $1,000 a month medical that you're paying. Okay? So medical and federal tax and Social Security is higher in the States than it is in Canada for Canadian tax, provincial tax, Canada pension plan, and the medical that you would pay in Ontario. Now, including extended medical, if that's what you were going to do.